Welcome to episode 5 of Hope, honoring ourselves purposefully every day. The topic of depression is broad and can take us down many different paths. What is depression? What types of depression are there? What causes it? Who is at risk? What are the signs and symptoms? How is it diagnosed? How is it treated? What are some alternative healing modalities? Over the next 2 episodes, we are going to learn the answers to these questions. Many of us feel down from time to time. This is a normal part of life. It makes us human. But for some people, it turns into something more. It can develop into feelings of inadequacy or hopelessness, which can lead to depression, which can be debilitating. Whether it's you or someone you know who suffers with depression, there will be nuggets of gold shared over the next 2 months that will benefit both. So please stay tuned. Sad hurts, but it's a healthy feeling. It is a necessary thing to feel. Depression is very different. What is depression? According to the American Psychiatric Association, depression, or major depressive disorder, is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Fortunately, it is also treatable. Depression causes feelings of sadness and/or a loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease a person's ability to function at work and at home. We're here at the beautiful Cobblestone Manor with Patricia Loff, Rapid Transformation Coach. I'm excited to have you on the show, Patricia. Tell us what you do.
Rapid transformation therapy or coaching or training, however you want to put it, is a way of accessing the subconscious mind in a conscious manner. And so the reason we do that is because most of our thoughts and emotions are living kind of hidden in the subconscious mind,
Right.
About 90 to 95% of it, and that is what drives our behavior and our responses to stimulus. And so then why is that important? The thoughts and the emotions that we have in response to stimulus give off a chemical bath for the body, and our cells absorb this chemical information, and this chemical information tells our cells how to operate. So if you take the research that says that we have 70% negative thinking,
Right.
that means we have 70% negative information feeding our cells and telling our cells how to operate. And
Wow.
that operation, yes, and that operation will, or that information rather, will either deplete the health of our cells, and then if you can imagine, you know, from your high school biology class, cells replicate, and
Right.
so if a cell is given negative information over a period of time and it replicates, it's replicating in an unhealthy manner.
Okay.
So most people don't have any clue what's going on in their subconscious mind. I mean, it's the nature of the subconscious
Right.
mind to be
That's right, to be
subconscious,
hidden.
right?
Yeah.
And so rapid transformational therapy is a way to relax the body, relax the mind, get the brain in a certain brainwave pattern, which is an alpha brainwave pattern. So you're still totally conscious and totally in control, but you can ask the subconscious mind questions and it just pops up just like that.
Right.
And so if you ask yourself questions about a certain issue, where did this start, for instance? Where did this trauma start? Where did this depression start? Where did this event start in my life that I want healed? It's shocking how quickly that just pops right into your mind that you had no idea about before.
Right. And you teach people to do this for themselves. This is a self-healing.
Oh, yes.
Which is
yes.
always wonderful.
Yes,
Right?
that's my mission, really. We're already built with so much healing power within
Right.
us, but we're
I'm
very
with you there.
rarely taught how to use it. And so this is just teaching people how to use what they've already got.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we dig into the goods of depression and how we can help ourselves with this disorder. Tell us about what brought you here.
Oh.
Your story.
Well, when I was very young, I began to get sick periodically, and it was very sporadic and very mysterious, and nobody knew what was going on, and nobody looked really hard because it was a massive illness one day, and then the next day I'd be up and playing soccer. So, you know, it was easy to brush off, and then as the years went by, it was less easy to brush off, and then by the time I was in my 20s, it was definitely not easy to brush off. I was getting very sick very often, and nobody could figure out why. And then one day I had an exploratory surgery, and they found out that I had a prolific ability to grow tumors. So then I started this odyssey of having surgery to remove tumors, and then another surgery to remove tumors, and another surgery to remove tumors. And that's how it went for a number of years after that. So I love science, and I was doing everything that the scientists told me to do, eating right, exercising when I could exercise, excuse me, and I was getting worse. I had a clean diet. I took all the medication I was supposed to take that was supposed to fix everything, and I just got worse and worse and worse. So after a number of years, I began to study alternative therapies, Eastern philosophies, different modalities of healing, in an effort to start participating in my own healing, which really for me was the key to learning and being able to put my own efforts to work. And I think that's one of the downfalls of believing in a medicine so strongly as we've been kind of seduced to do in the Western world. Healing isn't passive. Healing is a productive, hands-on, ongoing
learning.
Yes. Yeah. And so finally, after about 10 years of being a guinea pig for myself, trying Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, all those really delicious Eastern philosophies, I was really sick, and I was given a few months to live. And yes, and just right about that time, about 2 weeks after I got that, kind of ultimatum of either have the surgery or you only have 2 more months to live, or 3 months, I can't remember what they said. Somebody sent me some research that had been done by a neuroscientist in the States. She's since passed. It's Dr. Candace Pert, and she defined the chemistry that happens between our thoughts and the cells of our body, like what is the chemical delivery system. And she defined that, and once I read that, I thought, that was the ticket for me.
So on your website, I read this Arabian proverb: he who hath health has hope, and he who hath hope has everything.
Yes. I think as my health was deteriorating all those years, and it was really serious, like I was in multiple organ failure and the whole 9 yards. The thing that didn't make sense to me is I wasn't always sick. So it started somehow, but I didn't know what the somehow was. And so all of these years, all anybody had been doing was symptom management. And symptom management didn't work for me. I mean, maybe it does for some people, but it didn't for me. And so what was the onset of the disease? None of the medical professions could tell me what it was. And why was I not sick before, and why am I sick now? And why isn't it getting better? So
good questions to ask. And a lot of people don't. You're right.
Right. And so had I not had hope, had I not made that connection between, there was a time that I wasn't sick. I was extremely healthy, in fact. So what happened? So I had the hope that if I had acquired it, maybe I can unacquire it. But I had to know what that starting point was. And so once I figured out that it was this chemical bath that I was giving my body every single day just by the way I thought about things, and there was a reason why I thought the way that I did, then I started, and I was able to turn that around. I thought I had hope before, but boy, did I ever have hope once I got that little nugget of information. And it was a lifesaver for me. Had I not had the hope all the way through, I wouldn't have made it, for sure.
A wonderful commercial for my show, Hope.
Yes.
But
yes.
all the reasons, I love it too. I love it. And I think it's just essential. And of course, hope, honoring ourselves purposefully every day. Anything we learn that will help us, we need to implement in our daily schedule.
I agree. Yes.
All right, so tell us about how rapid transformation therapy can help depression.
Okay. What I do and what we do with rapid transformational therapy and depression, I'll just tell you what an appointment looks like.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay. Somebody comes to me and wants to overcome their depression. They do an assessment so that I know kind of what their life looks like a little bit. And from there, you know, you can tell a lot of things about a person when you just know what their present life looks like. So we do the assessment, and then I give them a few exercises to do just so that they have the experience of turning inward, because so many people live according to all the stuff that's going on in their outside world and reacting to everything that's going on in their
big word.
outside. Yes, instead of you know, really taking stock of what's going on in their body, like where do I hold tension in my body? Is my throat really tight? Is my tongue really stuck up against the roof of my mouth? And so I give them a few exercises just to get that opportunity and experience of turning inward and being comfortable with turning inward. Because the last thing I want is somebody coming to me for something and then getting all afraid of this new experience while they're trying to relax.
Right.
So, so we do that before the session, and then when they come for the session, I hypnotize them, and they go into this.
Okay, so you actually hypnotize.
Yes, because hypnosis.
So people are going to go, ooh.
I know.
So
everybody has the heebie-jeebies about hypnosis, and I did too.
So tell us why we shouldn't.
Why we shouldn't is because
have the heebie-jeebies.
Right, we shouldn't have the heebie-jeebies about hypnosis, because all it is accessing a particular brainwave. And when you can get your brain to be in certain states, like a meditative state is one of them, a sleep state is one of them, and a hypnotic state is another one, then you have access to your subconscious mind. The advantage to being in hypnosis in an alpha brainwave state is that you can converse with your subconscious mind quite freely. You can't do that as well in meditation, because meditation is a different brainwave, and so it's a different state. You also have access to your subconscious mind in meditation. It's just a deeper state, and you don't have the fluid conversation going back and forth. So the information is mostly going one way, and in hypnosis it goes both ways. And in sleep, of course, we're not conscious in the subconscious mind. We're totally subconscious in sleep. So hypnosis has the advantage of giving you the conversation between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind.
Right.
So when I hypnotize somebody, they're totally aware of what's going on. Their body is absolutely relaxed, like it just feels heavy and droopy and drowsy.
And you don't make them do crazy things. Or
Oh no, I can't make anybody do anything, and I'm not not interested.
Yeah, those are some of the.
I'd be a millionaire if I could do that.
that people have.
But really. So if I was going to hypnotize you, you would just be totally 100% relaxed, and then we would start asking your subconscious mind
let's
questions.
do it.
Yes, we can do that.
We won't do it on here.
and then your subconscious mind, because of the brainwave state, has the answers, and you can verbalize those answers. And so once you do that, then your subconscious drivers are no longer subconscious.
Right.
They're conscious, and they can't be hidden drivers of your behavior and your feelings.
Okay. And so how can they do this for themselves then? Just by putting themselves in a meditative state, or?
It takes a little practice to get somebody to do that. For themselves without accessing somebody that's trained to do that.
Right.
But once you kind of get the...
You can learn it, though.
You can learn it, absolutely, yes.
So tell us some of the success stories. I know you have some with people you've worked with.
Yes. I had mostly worked with people with cancer, and so they diagnosed, or it's not a diagnosis really, it's an identification of where did this disease start for me. In other words, where did the thought pattern that started the chemical,
the beliefs, and
that started the chemical bath for the body, that started the information for the cells, start from it. It's usually something that started between the ages of 0 and 7.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because
that's
when,
interesting,
yes,
isn't it?
Because we're in a totally absorptive state between the ages of 0 and 7, and most of our patterning and programming occurs between those ages. And people are mostly shocked. I know I've been shocked several times when I've tried to figure things out at how young a little piece of information starts, that starts a belief pattern, and that starts a pattern of how to respond to stimulus.
Right, and that's something that we've discussed in previous shows. Also, I've said this before, that I remember hearing Dr. Phil saying it years ago. I don't watch him now, but I watched him years ago when he first came on, and he said that if we have a memory from when we're a child, that it probably changed who we were becoming.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true. And now this whole business of consciousness and becoming whole is just retrieving ourselves from before that point.
Right.
Because we're born.
Oh, that's a nice thought.
Yeah, we're born, confident. We're born happy. We're born joyful. So what happens between then and now that trips us up a little bit?
Right.
Yeah.
That we have all these triggers.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap this up?
Well, the thing that happens afterwards, so once you identify...
Okay, so we're not done with this meeting.
No. Oh, no.
Okay, we go into hypnosis.
Okay, and then you retrieve the information about where your pattern started from, and then you put back true information. Like I had a fella that came once, and his dad had to work 2 jobs in order to keep a roof over his head, a roof over the family's head, but the way this little boy translated his dad being absent all the time was that he wasn't worth it. So he would go to a baseball game with his team, and his dad would be working, and everybody else had their dad there. And so he just felt like that's the only way a child can translate this. It's really everything that happens is a monitor to their worthiness. And so he identified that pattern, and then he started putting back the truth. The truth was, his dad was just doing the best that he could for the family. It had nothing to do with this holding on to this childhood memory. And so once he started to put back that he was worthy, he's always been worthy, he was extraordinarily loved, and always will be, and that he's worth it, his whole confidence level just changed. This was an executive in a large company, by the way.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us, all of us. I went to some clearings in Vancouver with Gila Golub. I don't know if you know who she is, a facilitator for a lot of different healing modalities. And going back that way and going before and releasing and letting go and, well, first of all, identifying was amazing.
Yes,
it was just amazing. And to put somebody in front of you that may have hurt you accidentally without knowing, or even with knowing. And just accepting that isn't the way we need to perceive it. Right? And it brings about a forgiveness too.
For sure. I think just knowing that the child's brain has pieces that need to be plugged in. So a child's brain expects a mother to love them. Not all mothers love their children. It's a sad
or know
fact.
How to.
Right. And so that child's brain hangs on to that missing piece all the way through all these years. And once you figure out that it's just a piece from a child's brain and you're an adult now, I think one of the things that I do with people who have an absent parent, or they think that they wish that their parent had been more loving, I put them in today's world. Like if your mother moved in with you today, and she was just doting on you and following you around, and I want to help you, and I want to make your breakfast, and I want to tuck you in at night. How appealing would that be? It's not appealing for many adults. So that kind of gets them over that need to have this love that they felt that they didn't have in years past. So.
Wow. Well, that's really interesting and really, really positive.
Yes. Yes.
Very positive
I mean,
stuff.
it ignites healing properties in the body, really,
Yeah.
and that's key. We all have them, so why not use them?
And I love that you said from about 0 to 7 because it just reinforces, you know, that need to write on children's slates.
Yes, yes.
Positive,
Right.
positive
Right.
beliefs, positive things.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. So, some tips.
The tips I have for people who are in depression, I know it can be hard to pick your head up off the pillow some days, and so to have a big ask is just too much. But some little tiny things that you can do
Yeah.
is lift your sternum out of your body, like lift it up. You get more oxygen into your lungs, you get more lung capacity, drop your shoulders back and, you know, just lift your sternum up and get your lung capacity going. If you get more oxygen to your organs, that those organs and cells in your organs are going to send better messages to your brain that aren't like, I feel so yucky messages. They're like, oh, hang on a second, I don't feel as yucky as I thought.
And we've covered this in past shows too. We
Yes.
keep going back to breathing,
Yes.
deep breathing, and how it just oxygenates
Exactly.
everything in us.
And speaking of breathing, the other thing I suggest to people with who have a diagnosis of depression or feel depressed is, as you got your sternum lifted, take a deep breath in and count to 4. Like breathe in 2, 3, 4, and then if you can, close your eyes and watch that breath as it sinks down, drops down, and travels down all the way down to your deep in behind your navel. In traditional Chinese medicine, that's called the lower dantian, and it's just a powerhouse of energy.
Okay.
And then exhale, 2, 3, 4, and do that 4 times. You can do that while you're laying in bed and you can't pick up your head up off the pillow.
Excellent.
Another suggestion that I make is from yoga. If you lay on a floor up against a wall, so you're laying with your feet are this way, and then you pick your feet up and lift them up against the wall like that, and just stay there for 10 minutes. Super easy to do, but it sends, again, an oxygen bath down to your brain, which makes your brain feel better, and it also invites the fluid in your spine to travel back faster to your brain. It usually takes a day to kind of make its full circulation, but you can kind of encourage it. And then what that does is it ignites the pineal gland in your brain, which is the joy center. So that's why yoga uses inversion quite a bit.
Yeah, we're going to have Stephanie from Studio 8 on
Super good.
next month in part 2.
Good.
She's a yoga instructor.
Oh,
She
perfect. That's perfect. And then the last thing that I suggest, or usually it's the first thing, is try getting used to watching your thoughts. I mean, the way to
Being
bring
awareness.
the way to bring subconscious thinking to your awareness, so it's no longer subconscious, and make it conscious, is start watching it. And then when you notice the pattern of negative thinking, which we all have, so there's nothing really wrong with you. It's the design of the brain that does it that way. Just start saying no, no.
I read something not too long ago about how if we imagine awareness to be a ball, even a ball of light that's traveling around in our brain, and be aware of where that ball is, and if it's in a negative place, move it somewhere positive and change that whole thought process.
Right. Because once you can interrupt it, you're already changing the chemistry in your body, just like that. So it's really, I mean, and you don't have to get up off your couch. You can change your health without getting up off your couch. So
excellent. That's a great thought.
Yes.
We'll have to put that on the show as a quote. We're going to quote you there.
Okay.
Well, that's wonderful. So much great information. So tell us again where our audience can find you.
You can find me at patricialoft.com, and there's a free download that you can get on the website that you can just download, and it'll get you started on how to change the chemistry of your body by using your mind.
Great. Thank you so much, Patricia. Appreciate
My pleasure.
you being here.
Thank you.
Nothing is more beautiful than the smile that has struggled through the tears. What does depression feel like? First, very little or no pleasure or joy in life. Second, concentration and focus becomes harder. Third, Everything feels hopeless. 4th, self-esteem is often absent. 5th, trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. 6th, low energy levels or no energy at all. 7th, food is not appetizing, resulting in weight loss. 8, food is used as a comfort or coping tool, which results in overeating and weight gain. 9, aches and pains such as joint pain and headache persist.
Hey guys, it's your Poop Coach Jeannie here. Today I want to talk a little bit about how gut health can affect depression. Now, a lot of times we think depression is only up in our heads, but actually the gut can very much affect how you feel. Now, in the body, we're basically made up of 90% bacteria cells and then 10% human cells. That number can fluctuate a little bit, but you are just a beautiful ball of bacteria. And so when your bacteria is thrown off by a food that you've eaten or foods that you have been eating, if it can be thrown off by antibiotics, it can be thrown off if you were born C-section. There's so many things that can throw it off. And so when you throw off the bacteria in your body, especially your gut bacteria, then that can start to lead to depression. So they've done studies where people who are chronically depressed are missing 2 types of bacteria, or they're very minimal in the body due to the food that they eat or the medication they've been on, or yada, yada, yada. So when it comes to fueling the body to combat depression, food is your foundation. That can make or break you. So there's a ton of foods that you can eat to help boost the body. And those are all of the plant foods. So every vegetable, every fruit, every raw nut and seeds, legumes, and then a lot of times these days people have some sort of a gluten sensitivity. So coming off of gluten to lower the inflammation in your body is key to preventing and helping with depression. So 90% of your serotonin is made in the gut, not in your head. It's made in the gut. And there's a beautiful nerve. It's the longest nerve. It runs from the base of your brain all the way down into your gut. It's called the vagus nerve. And that, if it's inflamed, you can't connect with your brain. So every single second of every single day, your brain and your gut are constantly communicating through this vagus nerve. And so when you're eating the proper foods that lower inflammation in the body, your body takes in all of the vitamins and minerals that it needs, and it turns it into a neurotransmitter, which sends it up to the vagus nerve, into the brain, so you can communicate and the brain can see what the body needs. Now, if that is ever inflamed or ever irritated by some sort of food or some sort of medication, then you can't take up the serotonin. You can't take up vitamins and minerals. You can't have that connection with the brain. A lot of times people think that depression just runs in their family. Everybody in their family has always had it. It's just like, depression runs in my family. It is a part of us. And that's true to a certain degree, but if you actually really look into it, has there been a lot of C-sections in the family? Has there been a lot of antibiotics being taken? Because when you take antibiotics, it kills all of the bacteria basically, and you have to rebuild that. So that's when you start to lose the gut microbiome, the bacteria that you need to actually keep yourself at a balanced level.
Reminder, food is fuel, not therapy. According to a Harvard study, depression can lead to a higher risk of heart disease and death from illnesses, while also affecting the daily lives of people by making them more socially isolated and affecting their cognitive function. Depression continues to be a major health issue for people of all ages. If you think you have depression, there are some steps you can begin to take. First of all, you may need to seek professional help with a doctor, a naturopath, a psychotherapist, or, as we learned about today, a rapid transformational therapist. Second, stay connected. Try not to isolate yourself. Keep in contact with family and friends. Third, move your body. Exercise is so important, even if it's just a short walk. Fourth, stick to regular eating and sleeping habits. Fifth, accept your depressed state and adjust your expectations. You may not be able to accomplish as much as you normally do. Try not to be too hard on yourself. Sixth, remember that alcohol and illicit drugs can worsen depression. They don't help. While these steps are important, I do believe that often, maybe not always, depression stems from a negative pattern or cycle created in the subconscious level of the brain. Yes, there it is again, those limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs. But the wonderful thing about a pattern or a cycle is, once we identify it, we have a choice. We can choose outside of it. Choose new beliefs that empower us. It takes work, but it can be done. We've all heard the term baby steps. This is so important in our efforts to change patterns, especially when depression has us feeling like we don't even want to face our day. On my Facebook page, I have posted simple things we can do right now to begin this process. Please join me there. Be careful of how you are talking to yourself, because you are listening. The song I'll be singing today, I tried to write from the perspective of someone who is suffering from depression and who is pleading for understanding and support, not judgment. Offering support and encouragement is an important role in the recovery of one who suffers. In this song, I touch on some of those feelings a depressed person may have when others are trying to help them. The song is called Escape. Again, I am so grateful for the talents and friendship of Cheryl Davidson. Most days I'm feeling so sad, so hopelessly low. The silver-lined clouds above me loom over, there's no glow. And I just can't seem to find anything that's good or right. There's no color in my life, all darkness, no light. And I feel like I'm drowning when everyone else around me can breathe. So throw me a line, I'll try to hold on. Don't let me go until I am strong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in. I'll fight with all I've got to escape this prison. I don't want to be a burden, I don't want to feel your fear. Please hear me, don't judge me, don't turn away, stay near. Don't tell me I'm lazy or it's all in my mind. Well, that'll make me crazy. Please be gentle, please be kind, 'cause I feel like I'm drowning when everyone else around me can breathe. So throw me a line, I'll try to hold on. Don't let me go until I am strong. And I won't give up, no, I won't give in. I'll fight with all I've got to escape I'll fight with all I've got to escape. Never give up on anyone, and that includes not giving up on yourself. We know that dealing with depression is a challenge. We also know that it can be made easier with treatment through various healing modalities and proper coping mechanisms. Learning about different mechanisms so that we have new and improved tools to reach for is so important in our health and wellness journey. If we go to the doctor, the usual first-line treatments are psychotherapy and antidepressants. But ongoing research has suggested that a regular meditation practice can also help by changing how the brain responds to stress and anxiety, which are a part of what's at the root of depression. Yes, stress and anxiety, which also come as a result of those beliefs, those limiting beliefs in our subconscious. They can trigger depression, which we've talked about with rapid transformational therapist Patricia in our show today, and which I addressed in Coach's Corner. Well, meditation can alter those reactions. What meditation does is it trains the brain to achieve sustained focus and to go to that focus when negative thinking or emotions are dominant. Meditation also protects the part of the brain which is involved in memory. In the Harvard study, it was discovered that those who meditate for at least 30 minutes for 8 weeks greatly improve the function of that part of the brain. How many times do you think, wow, why am I forgetting so many things? Today I'm revisiting the topic of meditation because it is a tool I want to improve in my own health and wellness journey. In an after-show conversation I had with Patricia, I quickly discovered my meditation techniques can be greatly improved. I've invited her back onto the show for Depression Part 2 on episode 6. On this episode, she is going to teach us about reaching a deeper meditation and using it as a tool to help heal depression. Until then, I will work and continue to work on being more consistent in my own practice. If you are a beginner to meditation, I have this great introduction I found on headspace.com called the body scan technique, which is actually an effective way to cultivate the curiosity that is needed for effective meditation. In this technique, you begin by imagining a photocopier-style scanner slowly scanning you, detecting any physical sensations within the body without analyzing it and without trying to feel or change what you feel. With your eyes closed, you start at the top of the head, mentally scan down your body from head to toe. As you scan, you notice any relaxed or tensed, comfortable or uncomfortable feelings. Anything that's light or heavy. You're simply building a picture of how the body feels right now. You're not paying attention to it. You should scan for about 20 seconds. Thoughts may well arise and distract you. If so, simply return back to where you lost your awareness, lost your concentration. Continue to practice this, and you will prepare yourself to learn more about effective, deeper meditation. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all your support. Blessings and happy, healthy healing to you. Once you choose hope, anything's possible.